From trading currencies in Switzerland to navigating the streets of San Diego. Find out why Mr. Frank Martinez became a rideshare driver and learn his techniques about converting passengers into cash rides. This is Rideshare Drivers Unplugged, Episode 1. All right, Mr. Frank, can you tell me a little bit about your background and what you did before you started driving Uber/Lyft?
Hello, my name is Frank and I'm here in San Diego, California. Now, what did I do before driving for Lyft and Uber? I was a private investigator and a legal clerk for a criminal defense attorney. Boy, what some adventures that was. Sometimes I did pick up some of our clients, not like I do now, but sometimes I'd pick them up from the jail and drop them off to the airport as they're getting out of prison and returning home to wherever they were from. Or sometimes I would pick them up on Skid Row and bring them to the courthouse for their court appearance. But enough of that. But what did I do before that? As a trader, now that I'm a currency trader, I was a professional in the currency trading market. I co-founded an online trading firm in Zurich, Switzerland, lived there for about 4 years, doing my business till I got bought out. Then I returned to San Diego, and that's when I started working for this criminal defense attorney. You know what? I would love to just be chatty Cathy and talk with strangers of just about everything, and have a flexible work schedule. And somebody told me, hey, why don't you become a rideshare driver? You're very outgoing and you like to joke around with people. You're jovial and you like driving around, lots of parts of San Diego. I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. And obviously, just starting out doing that, Uber and Lyft, they don't give you any instructions. They don't coach you or anything like that. So it was a little nerve-wracking figuring out, how to go about doing that, how to deal with people. I mean, I'm used to dealing with people, but most of the people I dealt with were people who were being criminally charged of something, So they were open and friendly to me because they thought I could help them. But when you're picking up strangers on the street, you kind of wonder, it's like, oh, is this kind of like a taxi driver situation where they're going to rob me or stab me or something like that? You hear all these crazy things going on. But you know what? I feel most people are pretty decent people, and they just want to get from A to B. And anybody who looks sketchy, will tell you what, I'll give you some advice. Do not stop. Keep going. Follow your instinct.
Can you tell me what drew you into the rideshare industry?
Well, I got into the rideshare industry because, I was done working for the attorney. He retired, and I didn't want to work for another firm yet. I wanted a break. But I also had family obligations, and one of those family obligations was my mother-in-law, sweet old lady. She's 97 now. She can't be left alone all day. She's got dementia, and so I have to be responsible for taking care of her, when I can't find her a babysitter. So I just didn't know who would hire me with that kind of flexible schedule need that I had. I needed that flexibility to work whenever I could and when it was available to me. And that's how I got into doing rideshare.
So how long have you been driving Uber and Lyft, and what changes have you seen?
Well, let's see. I've been driving Uber and Lyft for about just a little bit over 5 years, okay, on both platforms, okay? And the changes I've seen is probably the same changes, if you've been driving a long time, you have seen as well. My first year in 2019, I bought this nice car because Uber made a guarantee that they weren't going to take any more than 28% take rate. Of course, we know what happened with that. They broke their promise, but I was still stuck with the car payment. But anyways, that's one of the challenges of driving Uber and Lyft. They're always changing their agreements. But I've been driving for 5 years. I've enjoyed it most of the time. And major thing I noticed is the cut in pay. When I started in 2019, my first year, I made over $100,000 driving after expenses. That was great. But I was driving like a maniac too. I was driving 10, 12 hours a day. Then as time went on, my family needed more of me. My mother-in-law, with her dementia, she couldn't be left alone as many hours anymore. I had to start cutting down to part-time. And that leads me to the next part. So what do I do part-time? I'd had to learn how to cherry pick. And if you've been following Amit's channel right now, you'll know how to cherry pick. And some of the plans he has and advice on cherry picking, some of the stuff that I've implemented over the years, and he's showing me some new things as well.
Can you tell me a little bit about your currency trading and Uber and Lyft driving and how you balance the time?
You know, the interesting thing is when I first started rideshare driving, I wasn't currency trading yet. It wasn't until 2020, you know, during the pandemic when a lot of stuff was shut down and we needed something to do. Yeah, sure, I got the stipend from the government, you know, which was convenient. But my wife says, I got an idea. Why don't you get back into currency trading? You used to be really good at that. Now, she knows me for years, from when I started trading in 2000, you know, and then became a broker. So my work and trading balance is early in the morning when the New York session opens. I'm busy trading in the New York session, usually about 3 hours. Now, I'm a scalper, which means I'm in and out of the market. Could be minutes, could be an hour at the most for each trade that I take. That's my style of trading, scalping. So I'm usually done by 9 a.m. New York time. That frees up my time to do whatever else I wanted, but also frees up my time to attend to my mother-in-law's needs. And then maybe later on, when the best time for me that I've discovered to do the cherry picking is in the evenings when I'm picking people up after work, or then heading out to the clubs or to the restaurants in downtown San Diego. That's where I do most of my driving.
So what motivated you to get an Uber XL for rideshare driving?
Well, when I first started driving on rideshare, I was using my wife's Kia Soul. I don't know if you're familiar with those cars. They're compact cars, very small, nothing luxurious about it. And I gotta tell you, after driving 6 months on the Kia Soul, my back was killing me. And I started hearing about other drivers saying how much money they were making as XL drivers. So I thought, that's what I gotta do. I gotta get into the XL driving thing, you know? So I started shopping around, going to car dealerships, looking for different type of cars. And of course, the thing that we mostly look into when we're overly ambitious like that as an Uber or Lyft driver, you're looking for the big SUVs, you know, the big fancy black car things, you know. But I started thinking reasonably to myself, because this car also had to be a family car. And I'm thinking, you know, my mother-in-law would have a hard time getting into one of those big, tall SUVs, you know, in her physical condition. I thought, I need to get a car that's lower to the ground, but takes as many passengers as an XL ride, and looks nice and is comfortable too. And that's how I chose this van. It's a Chrysler Pacifica hybrid. So hybrid because I save on gas, and boy, do I enjoy that. Okay, now I share a lot online, social media, that, you know, anybody complains about driving for Uber and Lyft and all that. And right now our hands are tied as to what we can do until maybe some state legislator or some municipality makes rules that are more beneficiary to the drivers. But until that happens, I got to figure out some way to make more money. How do I do that? I take cash rides. Whenever I post about that, there's always somebody in the comments making remarks saying, oh, you'll get deactivated for doing that. You'll get deactivated by Uber or Lyft if they catch you converting clients to cash. No, not exactly. Let me tell you why. As soon as I go to pick up somebody, as soon as I agree to pick them up, I actually pick them up. I don't mention anything about converting them to a cash ride. Nothing. I greet them like I normally do. Hey, what's up? How you doing? What's good? You know, just having jovial, fun conversation with them, getting them to where they want to go, and also making a friend. You know, they're in my car. They're a stranger in my car. I might make a joking remark, and that's always a good thing. Have your regular joke that you use all the time in your back pocket. You know, hey, do you ride with strangers often, little girl? You know, something like that is kind of grabs them a little bit, and they start to laugh, you know. So as soon as we hit it off and we have a good vibe in the car, and I understand that they're a customer who rides with Uber and Lyft quite often, and I frankly just flat out ask them, oh, how often do you use Uber and Lyft? Oh, I use it all the time, you know. I don't own a car. Bingo, that's good. Especially how much are they paying for the ride? Does their company pay for the ride? Do they pay for it? You know, I get this kind of information all in a casual way, in a friendly way. I'm not interrogating them. It's like, give me the answers. I don't do that, you know, just friendly and casual. And if I find out, hey, they're a person of wealth, of means, you know, they probably have a need for a driver on a regular basis that they can trust. And that's when I start to convert them. What I mean by that is, hey, do you think you could use me again in the future? And did you enjoy the ride enough that you would like to schedule me again in the future? Because, you know, I do a lot of pre-scheduled rides, not on Uber and Lyft, because Uber and Lyft doesn't have a way to do that. But if you want to contact me, you can contact me through my QR code right here. And my QR code takes you to my little informal website, nothing fancy. It just has different links in there on how they can contact me. And so for the first time they're riding with me, I'll give them 20% cash discount.
Okay, hold on. Are you a rideshare driver? Would you like to be interviewed by me? Do you have tips, tricks, and hacks that will benefit the rideshare community? My email address is right here. Give me an email. Let's help the other drivers. That's it. And check out this next video that I have linked for you. I also have the playlist linked for you. Enjoy. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing.